Hey everybody, Steve here, and just like the past couple of weeks, we are still taking some time off to make things a little better professionally and personally. We appreciate your patience. And just before we get to the features section and our interview, we were able to sneak in an interview with Mayor Michael Evans on A Moment with the Mayor. We will start with that and then move into our features section. And then we will conclude with an interview from the archives. We're digging real deep here, going back to year 2000 with CEO and founder of Sellmark, James Sellers. Let's turn the page to the features section.
Is it heartburn or something more serious? I'm Angel Biasatti, and we'll be talking about heartburn and Methodist Mansfield news to know.
In this week's Cocktail of the Week, I'll be talking about a cocktail that is a creamy, chocolatey, rum-laced tropical bliss. It's a frozen beach staple.
Hey there, it's Luke from Cool Hand Electric. Are you tired of dealing with plugs or lights that just won't cooperate? Well, don't fret. Give us a call. Worried about power outages or surges damaging your precious electronics? We've got you covered. Whether it's a whole house generator or surge protection, our solution-oriented Cool Hands are ready to tailor the perfect option that suits your needs and budget. At Cool Hand Electric, excellence is still cool.
Cool Hand, Cool Hand, Cool Hand, where excellence is still cool.
Hi, this is Paul Duncan with Trinity Roofing and Construction. There are over 7,500 roofers in the North Texas area, and when a major hailstorm blows through town, that number skyrockets with companies as far away as Montana. In the planning stages of re-roofing your home, it's normal for customers to ask questions such as, where are they based out of and how many years experience do they have roofing in North Texas? Trinity Roofing and Construction can answer each of these questions with confidence. As a family-owned, Mansfield-based business since 2011, Trinity Roofing and Construction recently received a Product Excellence Award by Owens Corning and are a Platinum Preferred Contractor with Owens Corning. Contact us today for a free, no-obligation video roof inspection. Rated A+ with the Better Business Bureau, Trinity Roofing and Construction. A Mansfield company, not only replacing roofs, but building relationships. Find us on the web at trinityroofingconstruction.com. That's trinityroofingconstruction.com.
Are you ready to create unforgettable memories? Picture this: an enchanting event venue nestled amidst breathtaking landscapes with panoramic views right here in Mansfield. The Grandview Event Center is the perfect setting to bring your vision to life. From intimate gatherings to large-scale extravaganzas, the Grandview has flexible spaces to accommodate any occasion, be it a wedding reception, corporate Christmas party, or community gathering. Book your next unforgettable experience at thegrandviewmansfield.com. That's thegrandviewmansfield.com. The Grandview Event Center, where memories are made and dreams become reality. Book your event today.
Hello, I'm City Manager Joe Smolinski, and you are listening to About Mansfield.
The Mansfield City Council held a regularly scheduled meeting on Monday evening. The following opinions of those of Michael Evans may not necessarily reflect those of the Mansfield City Council. We call this A Moment with the Mayor, and my goodness, long time no see. Michael Evans, welcome back to About Mansfield.
Steve, I have missed you. Long time no see. It's good to be here, buddy.
It's like we're coming together again. It's been, what, at least a month?
You know, I think so. But you know what? The band is back together again.
Yes. Let's talk about Monday night. You started off with a recognition to the newly elected and re-elected.
That is correct. Our good friend, State Representative David Cook, came by to recognize the recently elected and re-elected city council members. And I want to say congrats to Councilwoman Julie Short, Councilman Brent Newsom, and our newest council person, Juan Fresquez, and give gratitude to Councilman Casey Lewis for the great work that he did. And you know what? I'm one of the luckiest guys in the world, to be honest with you, because I get to work with and serve with some outstanding people. You know, when I think about them individually, Julie, Brent, and Juan, and the wealth of knowledge that they bring to the city council and their heart for the city. Hey, you know what? It's one of the reasons why we get to do what we do, because of great folks like them.
Kudos to Art Wright. Let's talk about art.
You know what? Our city staff works hard to provide noteworthy essentials and remarkable experiences. And, we spoke the truth when we talk about great people. And our planning manager, Art Wright, got his flowers, and he should have. In addition to his day-to-day work of planning and gas well coordination, Art also leads our historic preservation efforts. And with his work, the Mansfield of the future continues to learn from its past. And Art is at the forefront of that. Man, you might see Art and his lovely wife downtown dressed in their garb from back in the 19th century. But they make Mansfield a welcoming place.
Absolutely.
And we appreciate Art. He's an outstanding person.
You got into decimal points and a whole bunch of zeros, the fiscal 2025 budget.
Here we go.
Yes.
So we did. We kicked off our discussions of the fiscal year 2025 budget. And, I want to invite our citizenry to lean in, to be a part of these budget discussions, because we're going to continue to work hard to lower the tax rate and also to raise the homestead exemption if we can. I mean, we're going to keep working the work. And, of course, we're going to deliver a balanced budget. And our team of financiers and our admin, they do an awesome job. So Troy Listina leads that, and he's going to give us a good budget to look at.
Kudos to Troy, because I can't even balance my checkbook. So
you know what?
That's
he
awesome.
does an outstanding job. I'm glad that we have him.
The entertainment district is seeing some light.
Yes, it is. So we approved the construction manager at risk for the Harvest Point Public Infrastructure Project. What does that mean? Well, all that means is that we're getting ready to lay in streets and gutters and all that stuff as we get ready to build that stadium and everything that comes with it. Mansfield is alive, sir.
Yes. You got into the consent agenda. There were 6 items. And, as we say, let's hear the sexy ones.
All right, let's hear the sexy ones. So let's talk about it. So that included $337,740 to the Green World Care for grounds maintenance of medians and right-of-ways right here in our city. $395,466 in additional funding to McMahon contracting for Daymire Road improvements. Listen, we are underway finally with Daymire Road. I was glad that, we started finally moving dirt there. So we're just making that safe for our kids and of course, for people who drive that roadway. And then $1.6 million with Stantec Consulting for engineering services related to the downtown Main Street project. So, a lot of happenings in the downtown area. So
That's
folks,
what I heard.
They need to stay tuned, buddy. They need to stay tuned.
Before the council meeting, you had a work session, and my little sources tell me there was a conversation about retail alcohol sales.
Yes, there's a petition going around town regarding that. Of course, Baptist preacher, teetotaler that I am. But I think it's important that we know that council is not advocating one way or the other for this. But what we want to be is proactive. And folks, I invite them to go back and listen to the tape there. We don't want, not a person, we don't want liquor stores all over our city, because we're not that kind of a city. We're a family-based city, and we want to continue to have those kind of experiences. But anyway, let me get off of my soapbox. So anyway, that's where we stand. We're just being proactive in that regard as to what we can do to make sure that we do things decently and in order.
That wraps up the council meeting, but you do have a couple of items that you want to address. Number one is a great community event that took place on Tuesday evening at the Grandview Event Center. Common Table. Wrap that up.
Listen, it's Common Table. Let me tell you what that is all about. We hear bantering all the time in places all across America, and I learned a long time ago that it's hard to hate people you know. And I want to thank Pastor Steve Pixler and church members there at the Freedom Life Church. A couple of years ago, they invited me to be a part of a church service where they took out all of the pew chairs and they had a common table there where people broke bread together and they fellowshipped. And also Grand Prairie did something similar to this as their city continued to grow. And, folks really didn't know each other.
Yeah.
And Steve, I learned that we have added 13,000 people to the city of Mansfield since 2021. 13,000 people. So that's a lot of folks that we don't know. So what we're doing is we're opening the doors of the Grandview Event Center. We're inviting folks in to sit at the table and simply meet your neighbor. Here are the rules. The rules are we will not discuss religion and we won't discuss politics. It's just, hey, how you doing? What's your name? And of course, my name is Mike. So it's that kind of a thing. I think that we want to, we say all the time, and you're right, the disclaimer is that I don't speak for the council, but I don't know a council member who does not want our city to be unified and to work together. We won't always agree, but you know what? I think that when we get to be reminded that we're all fellow Americans, we love our country, we'll find out that we've got 98% of things in common than we do otherwise. I really believe that we've got more in common than otherwise. So this is a kumbaya moment, I know, but that's what we want. We want a kumbaya. Come meet your neighbor and let's have a great time.
At the common table.
At the common table.
And an event that's going to take place before the next time we get together. So Juneteenth, it's an annual event that takes place here in Mansfield, and this is going to be a great one.
Yes, Juneteenth, national holiday when we commemorate the liberation of African slaves. It's also a time where we come together and we share in our commonalities as well, because we know that when the community is together, great things happen. And June the 15th is going to be outstanding. Folks are going to be gathering from all over the city, really all over the Metroplex. They're coming to the lot downtown from 4 to 9. Man, it's going to be music. It's going to be food. It's going to be fun. People of all ages going to come out there together. And as a matter of fact, it's from 4 to 9, but it's going to be, we're going to work to pretty well cover that area. So it's going to be a lot of shade out there, according to what I've been told. But I need to tell everybody it's free. It's a free event. Yeah, now you come buy your food. But in regard to the entertainment and all of that, it's going to be some great entertainment. It's going to be free. We also are going to have different moments. Like we have a moment with the mayor where you're going to have also your Juneteenth moments. What does Juneteenth mean to you? And we have people who's going to be giving commentary on that from all different ethnic backgrounds and spectrums because of the fact that we're all free. And it's a blessing to live in the United States of America and to celebrate freedom.
I'll see you there.
I will see you there too, buddy.
That, my friends, is what's called a moment with the mayor. We do this every couple of weeks, or at least the following every city council meeting. That is Mayor Michael Evans. And as we say, go forth. Have a great day. We'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Go forth and prosper.
Today, we're addressing a topic that many of us are familiar with. How to tame the flame, heartburn. But how do you know if it's just heartburn or something more serious? Feeling the burn? If you experience a burning sensation in your chest or throat at least twice a week, it's time to see your physician and put out that fire. But what exactly is heartburn and why does it happen? Heartburn, also known as acid reflux, occurs when digestive juices and food flow backward from the stomach through a valve into the esophagus. Heartburn can usually occur when individuals eat a large meal or consume fatty foods such as chocolate, fried foods, or tomato-based foods like pizza, salsa, or chili. Other dietary foods triggers include peppermint, tea, alcohol, and carbonated beverages. Indigestion is fairly common during pregnancy among smokers and in people who are overweight. Lying down shortly after a big meal can also cause reflux. So if you're experiencing heartburn, you might want to reconsider that late-night pizza or peppermint tea. But what are the signs that it might be more than the occasional heartburn? Other signs of heartburn can include a dry cough, hoarseness, and a burning sensation in the throat, trouble swallowing, and even asthma symptoms such as wheezing. If these symptoms sound familiar, it's important to take them seriously. If lifestyle and dietary changes don't bring relief, over-the-counter and prescription medicines can help. However, it's crucial to see your doctor to test for more serious conditions such as bleeding ulcers, tissue damage, or inflammation in the esophagus. Here at Methodist Mansfield Medical Center, we are committed to providing compassionate and quality care. Ask your doctor to evaluate your symptoms or call 682-242-GERD, that's 4373, for a GI physician referral and put out that fire once and for all. For information about controlling heartburn, GERD, or gastroesophageal reflux disease, visit methodisthealthsystem.org/GI. Remember, taking care of your health is a vital part of living well. I'm Angel Biasatti reporting for the About Mansfield podcast.
This week's cocktail of the week is the Bushwhacker. The Bushwhacker is a creamy, indulgent cocktail that has become a staple of beach bars and tropical-themed restaurants around the world. Its origins can be traced back to the 1970s, when it was thought to be first created at Ship's Bar. Its origins can be traced back to the 1970s, when it was first created at the Ship Store, a bar in Sapphire Beach, St. Thomas, in the U.S. Virgin Islands. According to the most widely accepted story, the Bushwhacker was invented by bartender Angie Congalero, who was looking for a way to create a new signature drink for her bar. She started experimenting with different combinations of liquors and spirits, eventually settling on a blend of rum, coffee liqueur, cream of coconut, and chocolate. The name Bushwhacker is to come from a guest at the bar who claimed the drink was so potent it could whack the bushes, and the name stuck, and the cocktail quickly became a hit with locals and tourists. In the 1980s, the Bushwhacker made its way to the United States mainland, where it gained popularity at beach bars and spring break destinations like Florida and the Gulf Coast. Today, it remains a beloved frozen cocktail enjoyed by people of all ages, over 21, who are looking for a sweet and indulgent escape from the heat. But don't worry about taking notes, as I'll always be posting all the ingredients and instruction on bourbongospel.com. Okay, so hold on. This is 7 liquors, 7 spirits, and 1 non-spirit in a blender, so be careful. It's a half ounce of dark rum, a half ounce of light rum, a half ounce of vodka, a half ounce of coffee liqueur, a half ounce of bourbon cream, a half ounce of hazelnut liqueur, and a half ounce of dark creamed cacao, and then 2 spoonfuls of Coco Lopez cream of coconut. Then about a half a cup of ice. Throw all that in a blender, blend on high speed until smooth and creamy, about 30 seconds. Take chocolate syrup, drizzle inside a tall glass, and then pour the Bushwhacker into the glass. The Bushwhacker remains a beloved chocolate adult milkshake that captures the essence of tropical indulgence. Its creamy, chocolatey flavor and smooth texture makes it the perfect treat for anyone looking to beat the heat and escape to a beachy state of mind. As you blend up a batch of Bushwhackers at home or order one at your favorite beach bar, take a moment to appreciate the ingenuity and creativity of the bartenders who have helped make this cocktail a modern classic. As always, I'm open to hear your take and your input. You can reach me at brian@bourbongospel.com. And until next week, as Mark Twain said, too much of anything is bad, but too much whiskey is barely enough. Reporting for the About Mansfield podcast, I'm Brian Certain.
Hey there, it's Luke from Cool Hand Electric. Are you tired of dealing with plugs or lights that just won't cooperate? Well, don't fret. Give us a call. Worried about power outages or surges damaging your precious electronics? We've got you covered. Whether it's a whole house generator or surge protection, our solution-oriented Cool Hands are ready to tailor the perfect option that suits your needs and budget. At Cool Hand Electric, excellence is still cool.
Cool hand, cool hand, cool hand, where excellence is still cool.
I'm Philip Washington, Chief Investment Officer of Stonehill Wealth Management and host of the Wealth Building Made Simple podcast. First book I read in college was Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and it changed my life. And since then, I've read tons and tons of books on money. And what I've done is taken those lessons, simplified them, and I talk about those lessons on my podcast, Wealth Building Made Simple. So come hang out with us. We're on every major platform, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and on YouTube. Wealth Building Made Simple.
At Methodist Mansfield Medical Center, we've been caring for our home team for over 15 years. Today, you'll find award-winning physicians on the medical staff, advanced neurosurgery, a level 3 trauma center, critical care for newborns, and comprehensive orthopedic care. Methodist Mansfield, delivering the care our friends, neighbors, and home team depend on. That's community, and why so many people trust Methodist.
Hi, this is Joe Jenkins with Joe Jenkins Farmers Insurance, specializing in auto, home, commercial, and life insurance. I was born and raised here in Mansfield, Texas. We're active in the community, and Mansfield's a town we really care about. Our office has over 30 years' experience in the insurance industry, and we're passionate about what we do and about customer service. For a free quote, please visit our website at joejenkinsinsurance.com or give us a call at 817-472-6058. Once again, that website is joejenkinsinsurance.com.
Imagine a city where innovation knows no bounds, where dreams take flight, and the future unfolds before your very eyes. Welcome to Mansfield, a beacon of growth and a testament to vision. In the heart of Mansfield, a remarkable transformation is underway. But it's not just about the physical landscape. It's about the spirit that drives us forward. A spirit of collaboration that bridges cultures, a spirit of entrepreneurship that fuels prosperity, and a spirit of community that binds us as one. Mansfield is more than just a place. It's a canvas where diversity paints the picture of progress. From art festivals that ignite creativity to tech hubs that redefine boundaries, this city celebrates every voice, every passion. Mansfield, where growth knows no limits and the vision is limitless. Brought to you by the unstoppable spirit of the Mansfield Economic Development Corporation.
I'm Mansfield Police Chief Tracy Aaron, and you are listening to About Mansfield.
Welcome back to another segment of About Mansfield. I'm Steve Casillo, and it is time for the talk segment of About Mansfield. In the studio today, we're going to talk about the transition of taking a home-based business and turning it into a tremendous success here in Mansfield. And in our studio today is James Sellers, who is the owner. Are you the CEO?
I am the founder and owner
of Sellmark Corporation.
Yes, sir.
And you started as a home-based business.
I did out of a garage. A little too cliche, but that is the truth.
That's right. You and I were neighbors. We didn't know each other, but we lived about 10 houses apart when you were living and working out of your garage. And it was shortly after we moved in 2004. When did you move out of the neighborhood?
Yeah, actually, I originally started it in the company in Capel.
Okay.
And we moved to Mansfield. We started subleasing a very small space in the MBS office park, if you know where that is.
No.
It's off Debbie and Business 287.
Okay. Yeah.
Across from, not too far from the Performing Arts Center. Anyway, they have some nice small offices with warehouse, and we didn't have money to rent our own place on our own, so we subleased that spot. In 2002, started commuting. In 2003, I did move. I moved to the Arbors, and that's where you were living at the time,
right?
Arbors of Creekwood, yeah.
Well, and so this, explain to the audience what Sellmark is and what you were doing out of your garage.
Sure. So actually, it's an interesting story. Originally, I created the company to be a full-service marketing company with advertising and sales consulting. And we were in Capel originally, and that part of Dallas was just booming. We had telecom.com companies and a lot of engineering support companies really doing some innovative things in Dallas. But these engineers and these companies were not really focused on the bottom line. And so we thought, hey, you know what? We know how to put Salesforce together. We know how to manage that. We know how to drive messaging and branding. And we can bring customers in and monetize those ideas. So we went out. It was very well received. But the problem was the whole system collapsed in 2000 as we were getting that off the ground, 2001. Of course, we had 9/11 happen. Telecom.com collapsed in Dallas. Massive layoffs. It was a terrible economic cycle. And so basically we had to pivot. So we decided to do what, my last name's Sellers. So the joke is when we're in trouble, we sell our way out.
Yeah.
So we looked around and tried to find something to sell. And we started importing outdoor products from Russia, of all places, in 2002. And originally we were doing that out of our garage. At one point we had a container that was blocking the alleyway. And, I had two small boys at the house at the time, and we were working to get this done. And the neighbors were complaining about the blocking the alley. No one could park. So anyway, we knew that couldn't work. You can't operate that kind of a business from a home for very long before people get upset. So we looked all around North Dallas and really couldn't find a place that we felt that had what we were looking for, which is a good place to grow and to actually have some options for taking a small business and try to scale it, but keep our overhead low, our costs low, and fell in love with Mansfield around 2002. Started looking for a house. In 2003, we moved here. So it's a great decision. I think everything worked out really well, and Mansfield's been an amazing supportive community.
So you lived in the Arbors for, I think you were only there maybe a couple of years.
Yeah, I think, it's interesting, this economic cycle thing seems like a reoccurring theme because we're in another one. But 2008, 2009, we were in another economic tailspin.
Right, 2008.
With the financial crisis. I think we moved out in 2009, 2010.
So we were neighbors for 5 years, didn't even know each other.
Right. But again, I traveled. I was gone all the time. I wasn't home very often.
But I wave at everyone. So we probably
waved at each other because I waved back. So I think the first time that we actually got to know each other, do you remember when that was?
I don't.
We were sitting in the gymnasium of a middle school. You were sitting there and I sat next to you and we started talking about music. And we were talking about the importance of music in education. I don't know if you remember that at all.
So in middle school, that was probably Worley.
It was Worley.
Okay.
Yeah. And I think we volunteered to be parent chaperones for some after school thing.
Sounds like something I would do.
Yeah.
And
so that's when we met. That's the first time we got to know each other.
It's funny how when you've known someone for so long, they go, do you remember how we met? And
the details are,
That's very cool.
Yeah.
It's better than meeting in a bar.
That's true. Which we have met a few times at bars.
So Sellmark, you're running this business out of your garage. You decide that I've outgrown my garage. By the way, what does Sellmark manufacture? What do you sell?
Yeah, so now we literally went from a marketing company to a manufacturer of multiple brands and multiple technologies. We manufacture in Asia, we manufacture in Europe. So our main product lines kind of fall in several brands. So the first brand that we launched, and it was born here in Mansfield, was a brand called Sellmark. And in 2007, we kind of were looking around the marketplace and try to think of some ways to innovate and bring new technologies to the marketplace. And we're looking at all this interest in black rifles, AR-15s. And the funny thing is, at that time, the industry was not really embracing it. The AR-15 was kind of seen as scary, kind of dark.
Yeah.
And the big optics manufacturers were still showing bolt-action rifles and very traditional type shooting. So we decided, you know what, maybe it's time for somebody to stand up and say, I think the AR-15's got a future. We like the fact it's very flexible. It's a very adaptive platform. It can be extremely accurate. It can be used for hunting and target shooting and home defense. So it had a great series of uses, but it needed good accessories. So Sellmark came out to make the ultimate red dot, originally for AR-15s. And I think we've achieved that, actually. I think we make some of the best red dot technologies. We make rifle scopes, laser sights, bore sights, which help people sight in the scope, make sure it's accurate.
Optics?
Yep, optics are laser related. You know, the vision behind Sellmark is to maximize accuracy.
Sure.
So our tag is make your mark, which I think is a great thing for a rifle optic. You got to hit your target, right? And then also in life, you got to hit your target in life as well.
Rifle scopes and optics. How did you get from marketing to...
Right. You know, it's interesting. There's definitely many times where I was considering different careers. At one point, I almost went into real estate, was thinking about doing asset management. My sales background was actually taking care of Class A office facilities, looking for ways to improve efficiencies and help reduce energy. So it was an energy conservation type program that we did for commercial real estate. And I loved it. It was great. I loved the people. I liked just the vibe. The whole industry is fascinating. So I almost did that. But, you know, I think the thing that really kind of led me to Sellmark was, you know, every company I worked for, there's just this major disconnect between the strategy, what the people, you know, in the ivory tower are thinking about, and what's actually happening on the front lines with your sales as they interact with the customer. And there's somewhere in between is marketing. Marketing is listening to the things that the strategists, the management, senior management is talking about, but they're not necessarily listening to salespeople. So many times we noticed that people were spending money communicating the wrong message to the wrong people. And if we could get sales and marketing to communicate and talk to each other, we could do a whole lot better job of meeting the market's needs faster and then get those products and those brands really to the market. So that's actually where the name Sellmark came from, the idea of combining sales and marketing into one strategy. Yeah.
Very cool. And I see that not only in corporate America, but back when I worked in talk radio, you had the marketing department, you had the sales department, and they're both just doing their own separate thing. And get it together.
And then your question was, how did we go from that into manufacturing? Well, you obviously don't wake up one day and start, you know, manufacturing high-tech optics. But what happened when we started looking for opportunities right in that point where we weren't able to generate enough revenue from doing advertising and consulting services, we found a company that was here in Mansfield that was trying to launch a night vision brand. And it was a group of Russian guys. And they had a great concept, a great product, but they didn't know how to bring it to market. And they came to us and said, you know, what you're talking about, the cell marketing sounds great. Can you help us identify the market? Can you get us the branding? Can you help us push this into the marketplace? And so I wrote a proposal and handed it to them. They said, we love it. We want to do all of it. And I was like, okay, well, here's my account information. You know, go ahead and send the retainer. We'll get to work. They didn't have the money to do a retainer.
Oh, no.
So anyway, and at that point, you know, we were looking for any opportunity. So I made an agreement that I would do the marketing and sales and consulting, all the stuff they needed as a sales rep, essentially, where I got a percentage of sales. And quickly that turned into us doing everything and help launching this brand. And that ended up being a very successful case study of really this concept really was successful. Within 3 years, this particular brand ended up becoming the number one in its space. Globally with like over 90% market share. Wow. So the system works. It works really, really well. And that, after experiencing that's how we started seeing what was happening in the outdoor shooting and hunting space, and then specifically in optics, and started looking at where there's like so many areas that companies really weren't doing the right marketing, the right sales. And we thought we could fill that void.
You outgrew your garage, and it's time to build on Heritage Parkway. How easy was it to make that transition?
Yeah, so the first kind of, again, we grew with this night vision company from Russia for a little while. We built a building in Mansfield off Regency Parkway when that was empty. Now there's buildings all down Regency. Mm-hmm. That was 10,000 square feet. We ended up taking up all the space, and then we ran out of space. And we ended up renting a warehouse up in Arlington and moved our offices off Carlin, off 287 in Mansfield. So we were driving back and forth between the warehouse and the office. It was spread out. So at that point, we're like, we have to get control of our office where we get everybody together and collaborate. And at that time, you know, again, that is in another cycle. We were dealing with the beginnings of another economic downturn. And so we were looking around for options. initially there were several opportunities, right? Banks were lending money, things were good. But by the time that we got to the point we really needed it, it was 2009, 10 again.
Yeah.
The banks completely stopped lending. We were looking at options in Fort Worth. We were looking at options in Lothian and Grand Prairie. And I really want to stay in Mansfield. And so I went to Scott Wellmaker, which is somebody you might know.
At MEDC, Mansfield Economic Development Corporation.
Yeah. And I was like, we're really stuck. We want to stay in Mansfield, but there's nothing here. I'm getting some interest from some other cities, to look to increase their employment. What can we work out? And they had some land that they wanted to see somebody do a development off Heritage between 287 and 360. But at that time, it was a dead end. It didn't connect to 360 yet.
Oh, right.
So,
right.
yeah. So they told me, someday this will connect to 360. It's going to be great. Someday it's going to be amazing. And so anyway, we put we worked out a really good thing, allow us to have a place to keep adding on to. Mm-hmm. So we agreed to build 33,000 square feet, warehouse and office. And we went to go get it financed. And the appraisal came back half of the construction cost. And again, it was during that weird time. And, at that time, we got very fortunate with a local bank came in, local banker.
Yeah.
And they said, we're going to get this done for you. We'll figure out a way. We worked with the city. And actually, that time that we finally got to the point where we're trying to get all the pieces together, I was actually working on a business deal in Moscow. And I was on the phone back to the city council trying to work out the details to get this thing to work for us. And I had to get like a $2,000 phone bill for that, by the way. So fortunately, it got done. And, kudos to the city and MEDC. I mean, it was really a difficult time. And it was one of those moments where we were very close to not being able to stay in Mansfield. We love it here and very fortunate that worked out. So we got the green light from the bank and we constructed it. And I think we moved in 2011, I think, or 10. Man, it's been so long ago now. And then since then we built on another 33,000 square feet. So now it's 67,000 square feet. And we are actually in the process of adding about 40,000 square foot to the building in the near term, hopefully get that done middle of next year. And we're going to do a whole, this really wonderful thing we're trying to do for employees, create this extension of the office, but it connects it to the outdoors. So one of the cool things about that spot is there's 40 acres of floodplain behind it that's eventually going to be part of linear park, maybe 100 years from now, but someday it will be. And we are lucky enough to be able to have use of that in the interim. So we have over a mile of hiking trails back there for employees. There's even some fishing ponds or a fishing tank. I don't know what the right term would be for it. But we're going to be creating this building that kind of brings that indoors. So big glass overlook. We're doing a whole wellness thing there where employees can do aerobics and work out to really create a healthy lifestyle for employees.
Oh, sure. And the younger run companies, the tech companies, the Googles and the Yahoos and this have that where your workspace may be on a walking treadmill or that type of thing that promotes the healthiness and that's
we hope to create like one of the ultimate work-life opportunities for people to come and really be creative and productive and contribute, do something amazing, and live this outdoor lifestyle, but then also live it daily. Even though we're in the middle of a metroplex and expanding city, they're still going to get some green time. I think that's important.
Compare your business from when you were a home-based business to where it is now, and then also compare your lifestyle from when you were running out of a garage to now.
Well, it's actually a really interesting, full circle. But the business side is extraordinary. We have products all across Europe. We sell into Asia. We have some of the most amazing engineers and product developers and designers working. Amazing partners all around the world. So that is nice to see and to see our success. It's also nice to go places and people see my logo on a shirt.
Yeah.
And they say, hey, I have one of those. I love it. I use, this is my son's first shot. First time he ever shot a deer was using one of your rifles. Or a TSA agent will say, I've been wanting to get one of those sites for a while, and my eye on this and this is a good one. And I was like, yeah, it's pretty good. It's the best. So that's great. When we first started, no one knew who we were and what we're doing, and it was a very public, very noticeable market. So to not be known when it's a fashion symbol, what we do in the optics industry. So that was tough. Now it's great. And then have the scale. We can literally have somebody come up with an idea, say we need to come up with a new XYZ optic for a new pistol, because the pistol is really popular right now. Right. So we're making those. So they come up with a new red dot for a pistol. And literally the engineers can start going to work on that, and we could have a prototype within a couple months. So that's pretty amazing. We also went from, barely able to make ends meet to now we've invested in people and equipment and machinery. We now have lathes and CNC machines. So we turn on our own parts. And then we are assembling Configure. We bought a company last year, make shooting rests, the best shooting rest for snipers and for hunters. And we assemble that, make that here in Mansfield, which is really great. So that's different. On the personal side is extremely different too. I actually live in an apartment right now. So if anybody in Mansfield has a good, insight into some available land to build or a house they want to sell, we've been looking for a while and just haven't found the right spot. So I'm recently remarried as well.
Yes, I was going to say that A, you look like you've lost weight. B, you're smiling, and C, you are newly married. So,
it's great. Life is very, very good. It's better than ever. We enjoy living in an apartment. It's simple. It's nice. We live in the lofts downtown.
Yeah.
So again, for the Mansfield crowd, everyone knows all these places we're talking about. Really nice place to live. Obviously, we're looking forward to getting a house someday. We actually got married right before COVID broke nationally. So we got married in February and came back, and then we were in quarantine for most of my married life. So
where'd you go on your honeymoon?
We haven't yet.
You haven't?
we were supposed to go in Europe for a month trip to meet some of her family and meet some of my partners and some of our business contacts there. That fell apart, obviously. But we were thinking about going someplace either like Greece, the Caribbean, and we never booked the trip. So we're waiting for that to happen. But yeah, I couldn't be happier. Very proud of my team professionally, and I've never been happier in my life. So it's great.
Let's give some shout outs. You got anything, anybody you want to, whether specifically or a team? You mentioned part of your team, but
I actually have a great leadership team. But I should mention my wife first. Myrna is a chiropractor.
Okay.
And so she's been a great inspiration. We kind of just been amazing, unexpected turn of events for me. So anyway, give kudos to her because every day, she makes everything a little bit better, makes living just that much sweeter. So give kudos to her first. As far as the Sellmark team and our family, we have a really great staff and team. Most of them probably live not in Mansfield and surrounding areas, but a handful of people really stand out. My executive vice president, is a guy named Jeff Murray. Fantastic salesman, an amazing businessman. He's been with me since he was an intern at UTA.
Wow.
And we actually have quite a few University of Texas Arlington graduates that work for us. And so he has gone from an intern to now executive vice president and has helped land the biggest distributors and companies in the industry and led his team to great success. On the financial side, I have a gentleman named Chris Kirshen, who is our head of finance. We've done some amazing things to make things more, effective, efficient. We're just managing a pretty big business, and we do it very, very disciplined, which is important. Without good discipline, you can't hire, you can't invest. That's really good.
Right.
A gentleman named Mike Bennett lives here in Mansfield as well. He is one of the most extraordinarily talented operations person and, somebody that really has a handle on technology. So I would give kudos to him for being able to scale. He's right in the middle of a million different projects.
Okay.
And he's like, James, you can throw me as much as you work. Just know it's going to take some time, and I'm with you. I see where we're trying to go, which is great. Another person I need to mention is Jonathan Horton. It's been with me also from the beginning. First time I met him, he was shirtless in the warehouse stacking boxes as a high school student.
Wow.
And he is now in charge of engineering. So he has more patents and developed products of absolutely revolutionary products, the best in the industry. And again, that's done here in Mansfield, which is awesome. So we have some really great minds here developing, designing the business and really taking that forward. So anyway, that's probably the top of my team, and I couldn't have done it without them.
What's your favorite ice cream?
Favorite ice cream? I am a vanilla ice cream guy.
There you go.
I know that's boring, but that's the truth.
If someone was interested in purchasing a Sellmark, whether it's laser optic or scope, how can they find Sellmark?
All right. So our great AR-15 or rifle optics would be www.sightmark.com. That's going to be where you find the best quality red dots and rifle scopes. We also make some great digital night vision, some really leading technology. For the people that are looking for the best possible technology for hog hunting, which is huge, we need to talk about some of the details, but that's just becoming so popular, especially in Texas with our hog issues. We also go check out pulsar-nv.com.
Pulsar.nv?
Yeah, pulsar-nv.com. That's Pulsar Night Vision Optics, and gotcha. They're leading the thermal revolution in optics right now. So, in a big high level thing, just what optics has done has been able to transform, people's ability to see distances into greater detail. Right. Well, we're now doing that electronically, digitally, and using advanced sensors. So now you can see heat signatures for a mile or two away. So anyway, the latest technology is available there. If you're interested, if you know anybody that's looking for a job, sellmark.net is our corporate website. That's also where you can find all the brands. And we're always looking for talented people and want to continue to grow here in Mansfield. Anybody that's looking for a shooting rest so they can be more precise, longer distance, Kofjäger is a brand that we recently bought, and that's also a fantastic product. Firefield for the younger people. We didn't talk about that either, but we have a brand that we've developed to get young people to go out and be proficient and safe and empower young people into the shooting sports and do it in a responsible way. That's fire-field.com. Okay. And you'll find a little more accessories and things for the shooting sports. We have several things on the drawing board, so we'll have lots of new brands, new products to come in the future. And again, thank you to Mansfield and for giving us a great home and having such a great place for us to innovate and create some things that have changed the lives of millions of people around the world. And we could not have done it without Mansfield and couldn't imagine a better community to call home.
You misread my email. And I had asked you to come up with some questions for me to ask you, but you actually came up with some questions to ask me.
Yes.
So, all right.
All right, let's do this.
The microphone is yours.
All right, so now we're going to do a little role reversal here.
That's right. We've never done this on the show, so this should be interesting.
All right, Steve, I would like you to tell us how you first came to Mansfield. How did you end up here?
Oh, that's easy. My wife is a professor up at UTA, and the story, we came here in 2004 from San Diego. I'm running a home-based business out of my laundry room converted to my office when we started having kids, and the phone rang. The home phone rang, and during the day, I never would answer the home phone. I always stuck to the business phone. It was a slow day, so phone's ringing, great, pick it up. I'm so-and-so from blah, 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 Arlington. I want to fly your wife out for a job interview. So I take the note, and I said, by the way, Arlington, Virginia? And she goes, no, Arlington, Texas. So my wife flies out to Texas, and that's how we wound up in Texas. Was she went out for 2 interviews, was offered the position, and we loaded up the minivan and the truck and drove
to Texas.
Took us 4 days. We did because
you must have stopped a lot of places. I'm assuming
we did. My mom lived in Arizona, so that was one stop, and because we were traveling with a 7-year-old and a 3-year-old and a cat and a dog. we only did 6 hours a day.
That's awesome. Tell me, what your wife teaches at UTA. What does she teach?
Her PhD is in sociology, and she used to teach for the School of Urban and Public Affairs, which is now known as Kappa. She's no longer teaching, and she's now in administration, working in the provost office.
You know, it's a kind of an interesting tidbit, but I actually have taught at UTA as well for maybe 3-4 years. I taught management and leadership at Salesforce with Dr. Chanko, and we tag teamed. He brought in the latest research and the academic perspective, and I was bringing real world examples. I love the University of Texas at Arlington. It's a great school, and actually we're trying to get a Dean's Leadership Circle community in Mansfield too. When COVID came out, I'm on the president of the Dean Leadership Circle for this College of Business, and we're going to try to create a much more active alumni association here in Mansfield. So just to get everybody thinking about that when this blows over, there's a lot of good things hopefully coming for Mansfield with UTA. All right, so what keeps you in Mansfield?
My wife's job.
There's no other place you'd rather be?
Come on, I lived in San Diego for 44 years.
You can't beat San Diego.
Where we moved to Texas, first of all, is like, why did you leave San Diego? Okay, so we already covered that. But people think that, oh, you're from San Diego, you must have gone to the beach every day, or No. After I got married, I doubt that I went to the beach once a year. But yeah, San Diego was a great place to live. Also very expensive. What else you got?
Well, let's see. There's so many. All right.
There's
so many questions. Actually, I have about 1 million questions for you, so we'll have to save some of those for later. But so tell me one thing that you love about Mansfield, and then one thing that you'd like to change about Mansfield, if you could.
Okay. One thing I love about Mansfield, and this has been my passion for the city of Mansfield, is its downtown, and to help downtown become a gathering place. When you go to these, and especially those cities, Waxahachie, Granbury, where they've got the town square, they've got the courthouse. All right, so we don't have that. But how do we create downtown to be a gathering place? As a board member and past president of Discover Historic Mansfield, that was one of our passions.
Yeah,
is to promote the present and the future of downtown Mansfield, and in doing so, we produced. I'm trying to think. I think I produced 6 or 7 downtown festivals. What was then the Historic Mansfield Music and Arts Festival.
That was you, the music festival?
Yeah, that's
an awesome festival.
Yeah, that was so. Our first one was headliner was Delbert McClinton. I was not the president at that time, but then became the president shortly thereafter. We brought in Jimmy Vaughn, Stevie Ray's brother.
Wow.
Our last one was probably 4 or 5 years ago, and then
did it morph and merge into with another?
It is now. You may be thinking of Music Alley, which
yes.
is now produced by the city of Mansfield's Park and Rec department.
So that's not the same. That's a different thing.
No, the Music and Arts Festival that was produced by a nonprofit.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot of people thought the city was producing it, but
I thought it just maybe just for branding. But I will say this. I mean, we've known each other a long time. The time that, we just talking about from like 2003 to now, the city's grown tremendously, probably doubled in population in that time frame. I have really found, Mansfield just to have done so many things the right way. I think the downtown revitalization's been great. They have some great businesses downtown. You grab a cup of coffee, get a taco. You have the lot, which is great. But we're really blessed to have the parks that we have in this town.
Oh, yeah.
They connect so many, interesting parks together with the linear park.
And now with the dog park, my dog, Copper, is a regular
at the
dog park.
Yeah.
My daughter drives him out there. It's only a 10-minute drive from our home.
What's going to happen to Mansfield when we say we're built out, maybe 100,000 people? What do you think I think that's probably where it could go when it's fully built out, right? So what do you think it's going to be like when there's 100,000 people in Mansfield?
Oh, there's going to be mass transit, and there's going to be you're asking me to predict the future, and I don't.
It's going to be interesting.
I don't know. If I were running for mayor or council, I would have some goodwill ambassador answer to that, but I'm not.
It still has that hometown feel to it.
Oh, yeah.
As it's gotten bigger, it still maintained that. And I hope we can still grow and make good opportunities for people to have businesses and expand. But I wish there was more local, actually. I wish there was more local, independently owned things in Mansfield, whether it's restaurants and cafes. I like the local restaurants and cafes in town, and I want to see that sustain itself.
There's a Facebook group that I own and I'm the administrator of. And in order to become a member of this group, you have to answer one question, which is simply, what is your favorite thing about Mansfield? More times than not, hometown, that small town, that hometown feel. Even though the city is growing and we're over 70,000 people now, it is still seems to be that one main thing that keeps coming up in people's mind is that even though we're growing, it still has a small town feel to it. Yeah. And coming from San Diego, San Diego's 2 million people. Coming to Mansfield, it does have that small town feel. Right. We're only half an hour from Dallas and from Fort Worth, where you want that massive city feel. Great, go for it. But I love
Mansfield. With a little mass transit though. You'd like to add a little mass transit to it.
No. Although I think what would be really cool, and I have talked to other people about this, even people on the council, is perhaps a trolley system that goes around from the hotels to some of the major points in Mansfield, whether it's Big League Dreams or the water park, the shops at Broad, or downtown, a trolley type system, or that makes the rounds, and it's
with the Star Centers now, and we
right,
and then we have the Performing Arts Center. You're right. We have some really spectacular venues now in Mansfield, and need to get people out to see them. Right. So that's good. All right, tell me a little bit about the AM podcast, because honestly, we just were catching up recently, and I found out about it. How did you get the idea to start the AM podcast?
Let's go back to summer of last year. I was professionally in a slump. Business was down, and so I went to a friend of mine, took him to lunch, and I said, I need a good professional kick in the butt. Help me think outside the box. What's my next step? And he says, well, what are you good at? And I said, well, radio production, broadcasting, And he said, podcasting. I mean, without even thinking about it. The podcasting industry is growing exponentially, not only in the country, but worldwide. That what was in the early stages of blogging and became this huge industry is now the podcast industry is in its infancy and is growing. I came to this friend, neighbor, business owner here in Mansfield who owns The Office in Mansfield, which is a co-working space. And I said, I've got this idea. Do you have any office space? Yes. October 1st, we opened the recording studio, Podcast Mansfield Recording Studio. Wow. And then I thought, I've got the studio. I've got the broadcast experience. I've got the news experience because my entire career was in news talk radio. And, hey, you know what? The news mirror is closing on Christmas Day of 2019. I think I'm going to launch this news, talk, and information podcast the following week.
That's awesome.
And January 2nd of 2020, About Mansfield was born. And since then, this has been this is what really gets me excited. I think I did the first 3 weeks by myself. And then a friend came to me and she said, if you ever need a second voice, I would be willing to come on and do that. So Colleen Daniel, I gave her a voice audition. She passed the test. And since then, she's been my co-host. I've added an intern who is going to, he's actually leaving me in August to go to UNT to study broadcasting. Then out of the blue, I get an email from my now reporter, Stacy Main. And she says, in the email, she says, I was just laid off from a 20-year career at CBS 11 News.
Oh, my gosh.
I live in Mansfield, and I want to be a part of your podcast. Oh, my gosh.
Wow,
yes.
That's awesome.
All right, so there's now 4 voices. Then I started receiving some written contributions from who is now my roving science reporter, Dennis Webb. And I said, Dennis, why aren't you voicing this for me? You need to be the science authority in Mansfield. So I have a staff of 5. They're all volunteers, and they all contribute to the podcast. And I am just blown away. Dennis used to work for NASA for 36 years. Talk about a great scientific mind. Again, Stacy with her 20 plus.
That is awesome.
Her 20 plus years at CBS News. Colleen was an employee of the News Mirror prior to coming to us. And then you've got the future broadcaster, Robbie, my intern.
All here in Mansfield.
All here. They're all Mansfield residents. And I was contacted the other day by a guy who says, how come you're not doing sports? And by the way, I played minor league baseball.
So you're going to have a sports segment soon?
Possibly. There's no sports right now, but
yeah.
I gave him
a short segment.
Yes. It's funny watching evening news. All right, let's go to the sports, and you know, they're making stuff up.
Yeah.
It's so much fun to watch this podcast grow, and that's how it all started.
No, it's great. I think the community thanks you. We needed a voice. We needed a kind of information that honestly is relevant, that's home-based, and that can evolve. And I think that's fantastic. I think you couldn't think of a better person to lead that. So I'm so thankful that she did that. So thank you, Steve. All right. So I don't know if you have time for some extra questions, but I do have more.
Keep going.
We got okay.
No, we got all the time.
So here's the thing: we're a town that has evolved and changed. A lot of folks that are new to Mansfield that have come from somewhere else, and there's probably a lot of people that have been in Mansfield that haven't really experienced Mansfield. They commute probably to Fort Worth or Dallas, and they might have friends and family that meet there on the weekend. So, can you give us your top handful of things to experience and do in Mansfield that people may not be aware of?
There are a lot of people in this town who don't even know the Far Best Theater exists. And that there's a downtown in general, especially when I moved here in 2004 or when I got involved with Discover Historic Mansfield, I think around 2007, that, you know, you and I mentioned that we lived in the Arbors. And so I'd go around, hey, what are you doing this weekend? Oh, I'm going downtown. We have a downtown? And so the Far Best Theater, I think, is one of the gems that is downtown. It's now owned by the city, and it was actually, again, going back to Discover Historic Mansfield, the nonprofit. We used to manage the theater for 1 year. Oh, that was so much fun.
What happened? I actually have a question about that because I went to the Far Theater several years ago, and then for several years it wasn't operating. Mm-hmm. Now it's back. Is the Far Theater putting on productions again?
Yeah, it's managed by the Mansfield Commission for the Arts, which is a city-run organization. The city purchased the theater from the landowner, and prior to that, it was managed by Discover Historic Mansfield.
Well, that's great. So I definitely think everyone should check the Far Theater out. I have not. I was going to say one little tidbit, and one of the things with this COVID, and also living downtown, we walk everywhere and we ride our bikes everywhere. And from the Arbors to downtown, I believe it's like 20-minute bike ride.
Yeah.
And I think it's like maybe 40-minute walk. All right. So the thing is, the reason I mentioned this, you can walk all of Mansfield, could walk downtown, ride a bike in downtown to downtown within 30-minute bike ride, maybe an hour walk. And that's not so bad. I mean, people pay good money, drive distances to get a good workout. So just come downtown, ride your bikes downtown. All of Mansfield's very accessible from everywhere. So, and they're expanding the bike paths, which is fantastic, and the walking trail. So the more we use it, the more they can do for us. So that's going to be good.
And I'll be doing an interview segment like this in the future about bike safety in Mansfield. because you got to share the road here in Mansfield,
Right.
and
that's true. And there's some people that don't know that there's bike lanes and what that means. So definitely that's going to be a good segment. Definitely want to hear that one. What else? So Far Theater, one of the top venues you think that people should experience. What else?
On the sports end, Big League Dreams, even just to walk around Big League Dreams and check out the 8 replica ballparks.
It is really cool. Yeah.
There are only about 6 or 7 Big League Dream facilities in the country, and Mansfield's got one of them. And most of them are in California because it's a California-based business.
Wow.
So to go over there, and I think you pay a couple of dollars to get into the gate, and just walk around. It's really cool, and especially when it's busy, where you've got softball or baseball games going on all the fields or most of the fields, and you can walk around from Ebbets Field to the Polo Grounds to the ballpark in Arlington is one of the replica fields.
Yeah.
Wrigley Field, I believe, is one, and Fenway Park.
All the big ones. Yeah,
they may not be actual size, but they sure look like them.
No, it's been fun. I played on the fields before, and it's a really great venue.
Yeah.
Also a good place to meet and get together. We used to meet with Leadership Mansfield. Used to meet up there. Yeah. It's been a while too. It's been closed.
I was in class 3. Which one were you in?
I was in the best class, class 2.
No. Class 3 was the best class. What is your illiterate name?
I think it was just James. I think
James.
I think that's. I didn't. What do you do with J? I mean, what was yours?
Mine was Safety Steve.
Safety Steve.
Now,
I think I'd call you Studio Steve or something a little more.
I like that.
Yeah.
Okay. Studio Steve. That's now my illiterate name.
You're switching it. Well, fantastic. Well, it's been fun catching up. Here at the studio, seeing all that you're doing with podcast. There's so much to do and see in Mansfield. Great schools, great place to have a business, great place just to relax and have a good home. So it's great talking with you. It's been a journey. And, the funny thing is, after all the time, aren't we just getting started, aren't we? This is just the beginning.
Oh, yeah.
So
what's funny is listening to you deliver what the recap of what I'm usually doing. And so James Sellers has been my guest, and I guess I've been your guest. James Sellers, CEO and founder of Sellmark Corporation, based right here in Mansfield, Texas. Appreciate you being on the program today. This is About Mansfield.